Hello and welcome to the Tameside Reporter Sports Show. We're at the Butchers Arms Ground today, the home of Droylsden FC, as they take on Colwyn Bay in the FA Cup this weekend. We also speak to Andy Dwyer from Active Tameside about the Pride of Tameside Sports Awards. We speak to Andy Cheshire about Curzon Ashton's Community Day, and we take a look at all the fixtures and results from last week. So yeah, we'll start this week at Droylsden, who are currently sitting second in the table after a 3-1 victory over Ossett Town and a 2-0 victory over Mossley. Mark, I know you were at the games and spoke to the managers after that game.
Well, I thought we controlled the game from start to finish, to be honest. The club's been hurt badly, you know, over the last few years from where we were with dominant force, and then obviously it's so hard to fall off a ladder and dead easy to climb it. You know, I keep saying that, and then it's how badly you're injured when you're off the ladder. So, in terms of the financial side of things, you know, we've been slowly trying to get back, and obviously, so from that point of view, you know, I'm chuffed for the club, and hopefully we can carry on and just take one game at a time.
First half, I had 5 or 6 chances, but we're just not putting them away. They were clinical with theirs, and then near the end, when we changed the system a bit, they could have had a few more. But overall, I think Droylsden deserved it today. Maybe one game too many for our lads, but we never give up.
So, as for the FA Cup itself, how important will that be for the club this season?
Oh, when we spoke before, it's again the £2,000 we got from the last round, and the gate receipts, it pays bills or the lads' wages. So if we can get through to the next round, again, it's going to be a tough game. It just helps the club move forward. Pays more bills off, helps the budget. So again, it's like Warrington a few years ago. It's the year after, it's got decent players and they've ended up getting promoted. So again, it's if you can get through a few rounds, like I think Droylsden did about 10-12 years ago against Chesterfield, didn't they? It gets the town going, buzzing. You get more fans in the ground, it pays for things. Brilliant.
Mark, Droylsden worthy winners on the day. How do you think they'll cope against Colwyn Bay at weekend?
I think they'll do all right, to be honest. From what I saw on Monday against Mossley, it was a comfortable 2-0 victory, and to be honest, they should have had 4 or 5. Alex Frost headed off the bar, and Kieran Kilheeney had a penalty save. So Colwyn Bay will be a decent outfit, but judging by the way Droylsden have started the season, I think they can progress to the next round.
FA Cup action as well for Mossley, who face 1874 Northwich. What do you make of that one?
It'll be another tough game for Peter Band and Lloyd Morrison's side. I think Monday was just a blip. They weren't at the races, but judging by the recent form at the start of the season anyway, they've got nothing to fear, and they'll have to take advantage of playing at home.
So elsewhere in the division, Hyde picked up 2 draws at weekend, a 1-1 draw with Ramsbottom on Saturday and a 0-0 draw against Glossop on Monday. Mark, given the circumstances of last weekend, do you see that as 2 points gained rather than 4 dropped?
It's 4 dropped in my opinion, because against Ramsbottom they took the lead in the 85th minute, and then I think Ramsbottom equalised with virtually the last kick of the game, and then on Monday Glossop had their keeper sent off for the second time in 3 weeks, so Glossop were playing without the first choice keeper for a great period of that game, so I think Hyde should have taken advantage of it. Now
Hyde play the Mint Cakes Kendal Town this weekend. Yep. What do you think of the result there?
Another tough game. Obviously they're in the same division as Hyde. They started the season off fairly well, the Mint Cakes. I think they currently sit in mid-table. Hyde, another good side, recruited well over summer, so yeah, it's got all the ingredients to be a cracker. So back to Glossop now, who suffered their first defeat of the season against Skelmersdale United. What was that game like? I wasn't at the game, but obviously first defeat of the season must have been hard for managers Paul Phillips and Steve Halford, but then again, it is the first defeat of the season in league competition anyway, and I'm sure they'll bounce back.
Well, I was just going to say, they're going to Ramsbottom this weekend. Do you think, given their start to the season, do you think they can bounce back there?
Yeah, Ramsbottom are 3rd in the table, so it'll certainly be an extremely difficult tie at the Riverside. Judging by recent performances though, I think Glossop can claim a draw.
Now unfortunately, no goals in 3 games now for the Hillmen. What do they need to do to start scoring goals? Is it a problem with the strikers or is it the supply?
You've got to take into account that their main striker, Ben Deacon, he's the man that's replaced the goalkeepers twice in the past 3 weeks. So when you take out your main striker, goals are going to dry up. However, they do have Dale Johnson and midfielders like Billy Asler-Craig to score the goals as well.
Now to National League North action, and Curzon Ashton, who've suffered 2 straight defeats. They lost 3-0 to Blythe Spartans last Saturday and followed that up with a 4-0 drubbing at Alfreton on Monday. Mark, 11 goals conceded in the last 3 games. Where's it going wrong for Curzon?
Defensively, it's going wrong, and up front, it's going wrong. They're not scoring and they're conceding too many. In my opinion, this is relegation form at the moment. John Flanagan's side are going to have to turn it around very soon, otherwise they could be sucked into a relegation fight. Just
1 goal scored for John Flanagan's men. Do you think they need to bring someone in?
I think they do, yeah. I think when they lost the services of Matty Warburton to Stockport over summer, the goals were obviously going to dry up. I know they've got Niall Cummins, he's a great striker, a club stalwart, he's pretty much helped them to where they are now, but I think he's a holding player. I don't think he's an out-and-out goal scorer. That's what they're lacking.
Now they play Salford this weekend, who have, I think it's fair to say, an embarrassment of riches. How difficult is it for a team sort of with the budget of Curzon Ashton and the setup of Curzon Ashton to come up against someone who've got that sort of backing?
Massively difficult. Look at some of the summer signings that Salford City have made. They could be playing in the Football League. Salford is an attractive club now. They've gone full time. They've got the backing of the Class of '92. They've got a new stadium. It's looking positive for them. Compared to Curzon Ashton, who have probably the lowest crowd or average crowd in the division, it's going to be difficult, yeah.
Well, prior to that game, it is Curzon Ashton's Community Day, and we spoke to community organiser Andy Cheshire about what's going to be on.
There'll be lots of activities happening. We've got lots of activities from 12 till 3 outside the ground. We've got floating archery from One Adventure. The British Legion are sorting out a shooting range at the other side of the 3G pitch. We've got face painting for free. The emergency services are involved, so people will be able to try on a police uniform or jump in a fire engine or what have you. So lots of different things going on. I started the role as community development manager here in March this year.
How's it going so far then? Because obviously it must be quite busy.
Yeah, I mean, initially it's very difficult. You try and establish relationships across the whole community. I've got a remit to work with 3 specific demographics, so the homeless, refugees and asylum seekers, and looked after children. And now we are finding that we've got these 3 groups beginning to be established anyway. We've just been successful in a £20,000 bid to children in need to work for 2 years with looked after children on an independent living project, so they can come to the ground, they can learn how to cook a simple meal and learn about budgeting in the house as well. So that's the next sort of big project that we're running. And we've also got a 12-month funded project now with the homeless to do multi-sports. So we've engaged with Ashton Rugby Club and Ashton Lacrosse Club, and we are working with 10 Sudanese men who have recently arrived here as well as asylum seekers, and yesterday took them to Tameside College for their English assessment. So these things are beginning to grow now.
So just finally, looking to matters on the pitch, it's not going too well for Curzon at the moment. I know you're frowning there now. What's your prediction for tomorrow's game?
I think it'll be extremely tough, and Salford have spent quite a lot over the summer and they've got to be one of the favourites to go up, and when we're still chasing 10th place, I think we need to be optimistic in our ambitions, and a draw would be a great result tomorrow at home.
So to Evo Stick Premier Division action now, and it's been mixed fortunes for Ashton United. Jody Banning's side extended their unbeaten run to 5 games with a 2-0 victory at Sutton Coldfield Town on Saturday, but they were brought back down to earth with a 4-1 defeat against Buxton on Monday. Mark, the 4-1 loss wasn't a true reflection of the performance, was it?
No, it wasn't, because once again there was goalkeeping issues in the borough of Tameside. Ashton's goalkeeper was stretchered off with a bad injury, and defender Aaron Chalmers had to take the gloves. So, you know, when you put a defender in net, you're always going to be disadvantaged.
It's not
going to be easy. So, yeah, like you said, it's not a true reflection.
So they play Marine in the FA Cup this week, and I know Marine is something of a bogey team for Ashton United.
Yeah, they are. They lost to them 3 times in all competitions last season. I think 1 in the FA Trophy and twice in the league, and they scored a fair few goals past Ashton, so it's looking like a difficult tie. But then again, Jody Banning's assembled a decent squad over summer. Hopefully they can reverse that fortune.
Now across the borough, Stalybridge's miserable run continued. They fell 1-0 to Shaw Lane on Saturday and also lost at Lancaster City on Monday. They've lost 5 games on the bounce now, Celtic. It's not looking great for them, is it?
I think alarm bell should be ringing. All you've got to do is look at teams like York City in the National League last season. They started really badly. And look where they ended up. They got relegated. They did make a managerial change, but it wasn't to be. And same last season at Stalybridge Celtic. You know, Liam Watson was in charge. They replaced him with Paul Phillips and Steve Halford, and then they get sacked. Steve Burr comes in, he can't keep them up. So it's not looking good for Celtic, and they've got a big FA Cup game this weekend against Farsley Celtic.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. They've got Farsley Celtic coming up this weekend. Is that the wrong time for Steve Burr's men to be facing?
Yeah, definitely. FA Cup, we know what riches it can bring to a club, and if you're in poor form, you're going to be entering the game with doubts in your head. So like I said then, I think it is bad timing.
Well, in 3 weeks' time, it will be the Pride of Tameside Sports Award at Duckingfield Town Hall. Mark, I know you're very excited to be going. The event is held every year to celebrate sporting achievement throughout the borough, and we caught up with Active Tameside's Andy Dwyer to find out a little bit more.
Yeah, obviously looking forward to bringing the sporting community of Tameside together. Loads of nominations, highest we've had for quite a few years, probably looking at 110, 112 nominees. We've all had letters sent out to them, so we're just waiting for responses, but yeah, everything's getting ready into gear for it.
Fantastic stuff. So what can people expect on the night?
So on the night, obviously a great welcome from Active Tameside for our sporting community, and then what we've got is a 3-course meal. So throughout the night people will obviously have a 3-course meal, and then we've got the awards throughout the night as well. So we've got 9 categories, and people will be invited to come up onto stage and obviously collect their award if they're one of the winners. It does provide a great platform. So basically the winner from our awards will go through to the Greater Manchester Awards, and what we get there is we get 10 winners from other local authorities as well. So we're great last year that we had, a flagship club as in Curzon Ashton, who actually came away with the trophy to represent Tameside.
Well, that's all we've got time for, I'm afraid, this week. But don't forget, you can catch up with more sporting news from around the borough on Tameside Radio tonight at 6 o'clock.